Hey everyone, this is Michael Moore, and this is the end of our first week with Rumble with Michael Moore. And we were actually going to yesterday do a podcast with a very special surprise guest, and all of a sudden I had a dental emergency, and we had to cancel it. And I said to my friends here, let's just take the podcast equipment over to the dentist office, and we'll record perhaps maybe the first ever known podcast from a dentist chair. And that's what we did. We went to see my longtime dentist. He's been my dentist for about 25 years, a really great guy. And I love sitting in the chair talking politics with him, getting his sense of what's going on, what he thinks his opinion is, what's going on in the world. And so that's what we did. So the next half hour will be me in the dentist chair talking to my dentist while I'm getting drilled. I say that only as a warning in case there's any children in the room. So let's head over to the dentist. So how'd you feel there on Wednesday when Congress voted to impeach?
Well, I had full confidence they were going to do so. It seems like there are two alternate versions of truth in Washington. And the Republican Party seems to have really dug themselves into how they see things and how to obfuscate what's being presented to them. There isn't even a dent.
No. Why? Why are they doing that?
I was going to ask you.
I can't. On some level, I can't figure it out because, they can continue being Republicans and having political positions that maybe you or I don't share, but also stand up for something when it's wrong, just wrong. Forget about it. It's not a Democratic or Republican thing. It's just wrong. And stand up for the truth, because the truth is the truth. But they have bought in now to the moment we're in, the Trumpian moment we're in, where there are many truths, or as Kellyanne told us that first week, there's truth and then there's alternate truths. Yeah. Like that was a good thing. No, I watched that same hearing. I just couldn't understand. But you were happy though when it happened.
The result? Yes.
Yes. You weren't cynical about it with like, oh well, what good does that do? Because he's not going to get convicted.
Not at all. I mean, truth is truth.
Right. And we should our members who represent us should take a stand for the future to say
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, this is not the way it's going to run.
That's not the way it should run.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And go on the record and say that.
Yeah.
So.
And let it be on his record as well.
Well, yeah. I don't know if there's any room left on his record.
Well.
Where they have to, his long list of.
It's nice to have one bright spot.
Yes, I guess so. Well.
We're going to have a momentary dental interlude here.
Okay, I feel that there's a needle close by, and I'm just going to be quiet for a moment.
Okay, I will be too. In honor. And if you just close a bit, great. Stay just like that. And I will be taking my time about all this. Good vibration. Excellent vibration. It's one of those rare moments when you have a quiet Michael Moore. Just a little bit more to go. If you want to rinse out, you may.
So what we're going to do now is wait for it. I can feel it starting to numb up.
Yeah. Okay. Open up again.
Okay.
And bite down for me, right through. Just bite down. Just stay closed. Great. Just like that. Don't move around. Perfect. Stay just like that. Very nice. Keep biting down. Okay. Okay. Articulate as ever.
So what do you think of Pelosi?
I think that Pelosi's a master tactician.
Mm-hmm.
I think she clearly has an amazing ability of foresight know where things are going, know what the possibilities are, and know the best tactic to get the result that she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And she being a major irritant also is a plus. Because he, whose name shall not be mentioned, needs whatever stimulus can be provided to him to push him over the edge.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the switcheroo she pulled there at the end by saying I'm not sending this over to the Senate until I know that there's a clean Senate, that they're going to have a real trial and not just some made up thing?
Perfect.
It was great, wasn't it?
Perfect.
Didn't see that coming.
I certainly did not. I didn't know it was possible.
Right, right. And somebody said to me the other day, said, you know what's amazing too, because people say, Bernie's too old. She's a year older than Bernie. Pelosi is older than Bernie. It's like, no wonder the kids are they love this. The young adults, teenagers, they love watching people having gotten to that age and still the fight in them, and the willingness to think this out in a way that we can't think it out. It's like, and which means, right, she's got other things that she's thought up.
Sure, she's figured out what the potential reactions are going to be and how to deal with them.
Right.
I pray that she does.
Right. Jeez, it's going to be an interesting year coming up.
And we'll be listening.
Yeah. Well, but when I need then just yes, thank you for listening. I was just thinking actually, your old office before you went to semi-retirement was sort of over in that neighborhood where Trump Tower is. Mm-hmm. And I've never asked you this, but and of course I know you have confidentiality regulations you have to follow. But is there any chance that perhaps Donald Trump ever sat in the chair here with you or anyone of his family or anybody? I mean, have you had any? I mean, you were right. You're really just a couple blocks away there.
No, I never had any contact with him, and that would have been a real dilemma for me had that possibility arisen.
Really? What if he had just walked in one day and said, "Oh, my tooth, it's hurting"? What would you have done? Come on, you don't do dentists take a Hippocratic oath, or what's the deal?
Well, I would have gotten him out of pain, and I would have referred him to somebody else.
Oh, but you would have done that.
Yeah.
You would have helped him in his moment of distress.
Yes.
Well, that's a very. I was going to say that's a very Christian thing. Not to give anything away here.
You can say it's a very Judeo-Christian.
Why don't we say it's a Judeo-Christian thing of you to do? Does anybody ever just say, that's a very Judeo thing of you to do? It's like, but
I think that's politically incorrect.
Yes. but okay, but I'm impressed though that you would, that, but I think that's partly what I hope defines our side is that there is compassion.
Yeah, but things could be that way, in Congress as well.
They should be that way, absolutely. And
you don't have to agree, but deal with the problems.
After taking Trump out of his pain, all right, and you are swearing you wouldn't dial the gas up just a little, 2 notches too high, just right. Because, I mean, that's always my fear. Like, if I ever have to have an operation or whatever, whoever the anesthesiologist is voted for Trump. And as I'm looking up and they're making me count back from 10, I just see his hand taking the dial and just going a notch or two. And then he's a hero.
A healthy bit of
in half of America.
Never hurt.
Yes, right. So you would refer him to, who would you refer him to?
Someone who leaned in his direction.
And you would know who that would be, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's more than a lot of people would do. So, 2 points for you. What's our next? I feel I'm getting really numb.
Yeah, you are.
But remember, sometimes I'm not numb enough.
You are. Just remember. Your left hand tells the story.
Okay. Why is that though? Why do I you feel sometimes I need a little bit more of the juice to numb me up, Is that just because I'm a 6'2", large guy, or is it just?
Some people are just more sensitive or susceptible to the anesthetic.
You can stop it sensitive. Some people are just more sensitive.
That's the way it goes.
Well, that's good. I'll take that. All right.
All right.
It's funny how we're in the 21st century and you're still using these metal instruments that look like they could have been used 100 years ago.
They probably were.
Oh, thanks.
I don't mean these very instruments.
All right.
If Trump wins again, he's going to be going against the flow.
If Trump wins again, we're all going to need a lot more dental work.
Then you're into mental work.
Yeah, yes, dental mental. All right, what are we doing now?
Now I'm going to making those familiar sounds, and I'm going to be sculpting those fillings and making sure your bite's okay and stuff like that.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Yep.
All right.
No problem. Yeah, I see that little spike that was bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all this excess filling material. You okay?
Yeah. That's interesting. Don't you think that dental care, when we talk universal health care, should be talked about in the same breath?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I've never understood why dental and mental health. If I were running for something, I'd run on that platform position of dental mental. That we need to have, because it seems to me, and again, I'm not a medical expert, but that if trouble starts in your mouth, the chance of it spreading to the rest of your body, whether it's an infection or whether it's just the ability to chew food, that it would seem like that the poorer you are, meaning the less dental care that you get, you grow up with teeth that aren't able to chew what you would call they're called vegetables. Vegetables, whole grains, things where you need teeth for, protein. But the mushy food, you end up eating a lot of simple carbohydrates, mushy, sugary food.
Well, that's one aspect of it. Probably at least as important an aspect of it is that there is a direct connection between oral health and general physical health.
How would you describe the connection between oral health and then the general physical health?
Well, let's take, for example, periodontal disease is implicated in heart disease and all kinds of general physical ramifications. The same bacteria are involved. And that's where those bacteria originate.
So it starts in your mouth, goes into your bloodstream, into your heart, essentially? Is that the path?
Yeah.
And then boom. Wow.
So it's the implications of oral health are systemic.
I read somewhere that too, that if you don't get dental care in your youth and you end up with teeth that are not right, or crooked, etc., didn't come in right, your chance of getting a better job or earning more money.
Oh, yeah.
They actually have data on this, that the less dental care you were given in your youth can correlate to less money that you're going to be able to make because somebody doesn't want to hire you, or because, well, it makes common sense.
Yeah.
That you would end up, that there would be an economic piece of this, an impact, to where you are kept as part of the working poor.
So in a macro sense, it would make sense to have dental care as part of a general medical governmental plan, however that was structured.
Right. Because it's preventive.
Yeah.
If you've got your teeth and your teeth are strong, it can chew the carrot.
But that's the macro view.
Yeah.
I mean, the micro view is very expensive to provide that kind of service to people.
Right.
Because, I mean, more people have dental problems than have gallbladder problems, you know.
Right. Right.
So it's going to be an expensive proposition. Where's that going to come from?
One or two less aircraft carriers. How about that? Maybe. I don't know.
That'll do it.
That should do it right there.
Yeah.
No, I think we're the richest country on earth. I mean, really, if we can't do it, then it can't be done. So I'd like to believe it can be done. So
well, I don't know. Richest country in the world? How come we can't afford $391 million where it belongs?
I think you're referring to the Ukraine money. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he would think that that was his money, his money, that he could withhold to benefit him.
See, it's just another area where I can't understand the Republican attitude. I just can't.
I'm so mad at them. I to be there in the room the other night watching them, the way they behaved, what you don't see on camera, the way that they are on the floor, it was so disgusting. And, you know, my grandfather in the town where I grew up, he was like one of the Republican leaders of the town, but he was a conservative he was born in the 1800s. So he was, you know, they were Teddy Roosevelt, they believed in conserving meant conserving the land. You know, conserving meant conserve your money. Don't be spending money on stuff you don't have the money for or whatever. You know, that was that kind of conservative thinking.
Well, that's a different world.
That's a whole different world. He wouldn't if he were with me, my grandfather, if he were alive and he were with me the other night in the House gallery, watching these so-called Republicans.
He wouldn't know what party he was looking at.
No, and he would lead the charge to remove all of them. And if they can't be removed, then shun this party. Shun this party because this party now has taken a stand against you and me and the rest of the country. Forget about what our own personal politics are. They basically said it was okay to collaborate, to collude with another country to destroy someone who's running for office here in this country.
Well, I think we're on the same page, Michael. Let's head on.
Oh, you feel like I'm wasting? I tried to put off. No, I know this isn't going to hurt. So you did say it's going to sound bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Trump wins again, he's going to be going against the flow.
If Trump wins again, we're all going to need a lot more dental work.
Then you're into mental work.
Yeah. Yes. Dental mental. All right. What are we doing now?
Now I'm going to making those familiar sounds, and I'm going to be sculpting those fillings and making sure your bite's okay and stuff like that.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Yep.
All right.
No problem. Seems like a reasonable time to take a break.
Can I ask you a question?
You can.
Medicare For All. Good idea? Better idea coming?
In that sense, I like the gradual transition with the option to keep your insurance if that's what you really want to do.
Right. Except, you know, the thing about when you have private insurance, it's not really your option. It's always your boss's option. You know, you can say you want to keep it, but like when those GM workers went out on strike a couple months ago, the third day into it, the head of General Motors said, I'm cutting off your health care. Because she had the right to do that because she's the boss. And she just did it. And
well, you got to know that going in.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That when it seems like when the day comes when our health insurance is guaranteed to us as a right by our government, no boss will be able to wake up one day and go, you know what, this is costing me too much money. I'm going to cut back. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to raise the copay and the deductible or whatever else. That doesn't happen in all these other countries where.
But if that should happen,
you
have the option of just saying, okay, goodbye.
Then you go sign up for Medicare.
Yeah.
So you're not without.
Right.
I see. Wouldn't it just be easier just to have everybody already on it?
Yeah, it would. But the only problem that I see with that is that you're not giving people who want to have options. And people get pissed off at that.
But even in these countries with socialized medicine,
I'm not saying it makes sense.
yeah, but they all have options. They have, like in Germany and elsewhere, you can get extra care. You can get, like, let's say, like the general in I don't know, like a country like Canada, if you have to go to the hospital, it's completely covered. Mm-hmm. If you want a private room, you pay more.
Yeah.
So so there are those options. If you have the money and you want those things, you can have them.
I understand that, but I don't think that's the issue in this country. The issue in this country is it's like the gun. It's like the gun issue. People don't want to get things taken away that they're used to, that they like, that are working.
You're saying that we are like children.
Yeah, well,
as a citizen, as a human being, as a doctor, your general overall feeling is what in terms of covering people and
my feeling
and having
it'd be much simpler just to have universal coverage.
Yeah, and that everybody should be able to see a dentist, see a doctor whenever they need to.
Exactly.
And have it covered.
Yeah.
And not lose your house.
No, but the sticky part of that wheel is that if they're going to compensate all doctors, all kinds of doctors, at the level that they're compensating them now, that's going to be a problem, because if you ever look at a Medicare compensation form that you get, an EOB or a statement of claim or whatever, you see how little they pay.
How little Medicare pays.
Yes.
So doctors are going to make less money.
Doctors are going to, I don't know what the hell doctors are going to do. It certainly will not be an incentive, one, to get the best people going into medicine.
But do you think they have that problem in France or Germany or Canada?
No idea.
I mean, I've studied it because I've gone there.
I don't know what their level of payment is.
It's pretty good. I mean, actually, a GP, family doctor in this country, makes less than a family doctor does in Canada.
Well, then they must be compensating them better than Medicare does here.
Well, yes, and also, yes, because plus it's so, even with private insurance here, it's so hard for a family physician to get the insurance company to cover stuff. That's why they got those 9 people sitting in that outer office in the glass, all on the phone, yelling at the insurance company, because the insurance company, doesn't want to pay. Oh, they make more profit when they don't pay.
I run into that problem all the time. Insurance companies are constantly trying to screw people out of money, my role became when I had a much busier practice, that of fighting with insurance companies.
Right. And it takes up time.
It takes up time, but insurance companies respond when you do that. I think that the game
you shouldn't have to do it.
The game is obstruct and see what you can get away with.
That's their game.
Yeah.
Obstruct, deny, and see what we can get away with.
That's right.
And that's why we'll make more money.
Yeah, sure.
Should the concept really of profit even be entering into this? I mean, that an insurance company, which has nothing to do with being a doctor, even though they hire doctors to screw people, sadly, right? That's the truth.
I'm not denying that.
Okay, so, it just seems like the game here is how they make more money when they deny more claims.
Yeah.
Well, that's just on its face immoral to me. That's just wrong. It should, the decision, and you as a dentist or the doctor next door should never have to be making a decision based on whether or not you're going to have to fight tooth and nail the insurance company to get paid. Well, and it's just wrong.
On its face, it's wrong. Sure.
On its face, on its back,
any way you want to.
Under its butt, it's all wrong.
Sure.
I don't want to live. I want this to be better. Why can't we have what the Canadians have? You ever been there?
Oh, yeah.
They're happy people.
That's true.
Or happier than us,
They're just not running around so preoccupied all the time.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Okay.
So I asked the British doctor, I said, what about, you make less than a doctor would, especially a specialist in the U.S. And he said, well, but I get to live here where everybody's taken care of. And it's a safer society because people are not falling between the cracks and then become desperate. Mm-hmm. And he said, plus, here's my Beamer. I don't need two Beamers. I'm happy with one Beamer. I live in $1 million condo. I don't need to live in a $2 million condo. I have a great life. And he says, the thing with you Americans are, you get a great life, and then you want a greater life. Then when you get a greater life, you want even a greater life. And it's kind of like, when is enough is enough here? When if you're already living a really good life.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, that makes sense.
It sure does.
I belong to a union, so this today is hardly costing me anything. In fact, I belong to 3 unions, so it's a good deal for me. But it shouldn't just be because I belong to a union. Everybody should have this.
Look, we're such a wealthy country. Why not?
Exactly right.
Yeah,
It's
an advanced country, supposedly.
Okay, are we done? I just want to say that both Bernie and Elizabeth Warren's plans, are phase-ins. It isn't going to be just a change overnight. Obviously, the first year, I think with Bernie, the first year Medicare gets lowered from 65 to 55, and the next year to 45. It's going to phase in like that. And I think most Americans, too, they actually do want their family doctor and their family dentist paid well. I mean, we're happy. We want you to be. This is so important to us. Our just basic everyday functioning is based on the work you do. And when we're in trouble, whether it's in our body, our mouth, or our mental condition, we look to you. We need you. So. I can't imagine anybody supporting any kind of plan that doesn't properly compensate the great work and important work that people in your profession do. But I think if you agree with this, I can't live in a country where tens of millions of people don't have the care that they should have. It's unconscionable. Yes, and it's I can't. They're Americans too. We're all in this together, and I want them to have what I have. I don't want to just say, I got this good union insurance, so I'm all set. That does not make me happy. It might get me into the doctor and get my whatever I need fixed, but I can't just sleep well with that.
Understandable.
And I know in talking to you over the years, I've really appreciated listening to your viewpoints on this and how you feel about where things are at. And, you've lived a little longer than I have, so you've seen things.
I'm hoping to see better.
Yes, right?
Yes.
You don't want to go out like this. Neither do I.
You can't handle the guilt.
Right. Well, we got these kids and the grandkids.
That's right.
And it's like, can't feel good about it until this is fixed. So, and if they can have it in Canada, this was of course, I'm from, Michigan, so they're just across the river. They know how upset I am that they have something we don't have. So, it wasn't enough just that we took their hockey game from them.
It's enough of this gloating.
I know. No, there's no gloating. We just want what the Canadians have. That's all we're asking for.
No, I'm saying the Canadians are gloating.
Actually they do. They will. They're not. They are nice and they're polite and their streets are clean. But let me tell you, make sure they don't have a hockey stick in their hand. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you seeing me here on a Saturday. Thank you very much, Doctor, for being part of Rumble here. You've been my dentist for like ever. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me. And
you already have. Thank you.
Thanks everybody who's listening to this. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. It's called Rumble with Michael Moore. Send us your comments, your reviews, rate it. B-rate it, whatever it is you need to do it. We're all in this together. And thanks for being part of this first week of my new podcast. And maybe we'll be back tomorrow or the next day. Even though I keep calling it a weekly podcast, I can't stop potting.
Now that he's had to be quiet for the past 2 hours.
Yeah, this is the longest moments of silence in a podcast. We're gonna have to tighten that part up. We'll be back soon here. Probably you'll hear from me the next day or so. And thanks to all and to everybody. And I hope you're enjoying the weekend.